What if the man who taught America how to laugh, love, and parent was hiding a secret that could shatter the very image he built? Tonight, we're peeling back 3 decades of carefully polished legend to expose the cracks that were there all along. Ready? Let's flip on the studio lights and see what they've been hiding. Picture primetime in 1984. Canned laughter, cardboard sets, and black characters boxed into tired punchlines. Then Bill Cosby walks into NBC with an audacious promise. Give me full creative control, and I'll give you America's new favorite family. Desperate for a ratings miracle, the network signs the deal. Overnight, the Huxtables become Thursday night royalty, proving a black household could headline network TV without leaning on stereotypes or poverty tropes. But as the laughs rolled in, so did an unchecked authority. An unchecked authority. It has a habit of breeding shadows. Coming up, the free-spirited daughter who dared to step out of those shadows. Enter Lisa Bonet. Wild curls, layered denim, and a grin that said rules are optional. As Denise, she didn't just steal scenes, she sparked a cultural wave. Teens copied her thrift store chic, magazines crowned her the face of 80s bohemian cool, and backstage, producers whispered she might eclipse Cosby himself in fan mail. That made one person very uncomfortable. Still, for a while, he tolerated the wild child, until she picked a role that blew his carefully curated bubble wide open. Because next comes the movie that set off a war behind closed doors. 1987, Bonet signs onto Angel Heart, a swampy, voodoo-soaked thriller dripping with blood, sex, and a love scene so raw, the studio nearly got slapped with an X rating. Cosby's wholesome brand recoiled. He built a billion-dollar franchise on family virtues. Bonet's new film felt like gasoline on that image. Insiders say the pair clashed in explosive closed-door showdowns, Bonet asserting artistic freedom, Cosby demanding compliance. Yet the real twist? Instead of firing her, he offers a reward? A different world, a college spin-off tailor-made for Denise. But was it a gift or a gilded cage? On paper, the spin-off was Bonet's playground. New campus, new cast, new frontier. In practice, Cosby handpicked every writer and vetoed plots that dared wander into messy realities like student debt or systemic bias. Lisa pitched storylines about colorism, class, and identity. Most got buried in drafts that never saw daylight. Ratings soared anyway. Sandwiched between Cosby and Cheers, how could they not? But creative frustration kept smoldering. Then real life dropped a bombshell that no network note could rewrite. 20 years old and newly married to rocker Lenny Kravitz, Bonet announced she was expecting. Suddenly, the show about carefree college hijinks had a very grown-up dilemma. Writers brainstormed brave plots: single motherhood on campus, childcare costs, stigma. But Cosby nixed them all. Instead, he yanked her back to the mothership, The Cosby Show, promising fans Denise merely took a break from school. Behind that flimsy excuse, control tightened, and when the baby arrived, Denise's screen time vanished, replaced by a storyline no one saw coming. Wait until you hear how NBC married her off in a single sentence. In 1991, viewers tune in to learn Denise is suddenly Mrs. Martin Kendall, stepmom to little Olivia, and relocating to a Navy base in Japan, all revealed in passing dialogue. Just like that, the free spirit was flown overseas and off the call sheet. She didn't even return for the 1992 finale. Fans were baffled, insiders weren't. By then, the Backstage Whisper network was buzzing about why Cosby needed the wild card gone. Because while the sitcom beamed perfection into 30 million homes, rumors of his private conduct were becoming impossible to ignore. Years later, actor Joseph C. Phillips, Denise's on-screen husband, dropped a blog post titled, "Of course, Bill Cosby is guilty." He called Cosby's infidelity ambient, as unquestioned as oxygen on set. Phillips even recalls a friend from the crew whispering she'd been drugged and assaulted. Yet no one dared confront TV's golden goose. Careers and paychecks depended on silence. And Cosby, he was busy polishing that father figure halo, even if it meant selling out his own flesh and blood. Want proof of his iron-fisted image control? One National Enquirer staffer swears Cosby himself leaked a story accusing his daughter of drug use just to bury a piece tying him to Vegas showgirls. Sacrificing family for reputation. Chilling, right? Studio security mirrored that paranoia. Closed sets, restricted passes, private meetings with young female guest stars. The perfect dad persona had become a fortress, and fortress walls don't let light in. But in 2014, a single stand-up clip cracked those walls open, and the flood began. Comedian Hannibal Buress's viral set resurfaced decades-old allegations, giving dormant voices sudden power. Within months, more than 60 women stepped forward. Lawsuits filed, talk shows ignited, and the Huxtable dream curdled before America's eyes. Castmates scrambled. Some defended, others grieved. Felicia Rashad tweeted, "Finally, a terrible wrong is being righted when Cosby's conviction was later overturned. Malcolm Jamal Warner voiced heartbreak for a legacy lost. Rudy's Kesha Knight Pulliam walked him into court, yet insisted survivors be heard. Through it all, Lisa Bonet stayed mostly silent, until karma did the talking." In 2018, asked if the allegations shocked her, Bonet replied, "I knew enough." There was always a sinister energy. No rage, no theatrics, just the weary certainty of someone who trusted her gut long ago. Viewers finally understood why she'd walked away from a global juggernaut at the height of her fame. And months later, a jury would echo her instincts. Cosby was convicted of drugging and assaulting Andrea Constand, sentenced 3 to 10 years, and at last, the fortress looked ready to crumble. But in June 2021, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court vacated the verdict over a past prosecutor's non-prosecution promise. The man once dubbed America's Dad strolled out of prison, flashing a victorious V sign. Survivors felt gut-punched, defenders felt vindicated. Yet outside the courtroom, time wasn't done collecting debts. Under New York's Adult Survivors Act, new lawsuits surge, giving 10 more women their day in court, while a Las Vegas judge greenlights another decade-old claim. Meanwhile, Cosby puts a Manhattan townhouse on the market for $7 million, right as City Mortgage alleges he's $4.2 million behind on payments. Decider New York Post, the empire built on wholesome laughs now fights on two fronts, legal and financial, and each filing drags more private details into the sunlight. So where does that leave The Cosby Show? For millions, it once modeled black excellence, loving parents, ambitious kids, a Brooklyn brownstone bursting with hope. Yet history reminds us, art can uplift and obscure. Cosby's charisma masked systemic power imbalances that let predators thrive. His downfall forces a harder question. Do we separate the art from the artist, or do we finally admit the laughs were financed by silence? Bonet's story isn't just gossip, it's a case study in intuition. She sensed the rot before the headlines, paid the price for walking away, and found peace on her own terms. In an industry that often devours young talent, that choice may be her greatest legacy. For decades, syndication checks flowed like clockwork, until April 2018, one day after Cosby's guilty verdict. Bounce TV yanked The Cosby Show with a single press release. TV Land reruns vanished, and Hulu confirmed the sitcom would disappear from its library that November. Refinery 29. Devulture. Cast members who once counted on residuals watched a revenue stream dry up overnight, while fans scrambled to find bootleg DVDs on eBay. The sudden blackout proved one thing. In the streaming age, a show's afterlife can be switched off at the speed of a tweet, and the people who created it have no say when the moral math stops adding up. Zoomers didn't grow up rushing to the couch for TGIF. They met Bill Cosby in history class clips in W. Kamau Bell's 2022 docuseries, We Need to Talk About Cosby. Los Angeles Times. On TikTok, Ernest Stitches debate whether it's ethical to stream a sitcom that paid college tuition for countless black kids, yet masked systemic abuse. One viral sound asks, "Can you laugh at Cliff Huxtable without endorsing Bill Cosby?" Comments read like a live ethics seminar. Some argue cultural preservation, others advocate a total boycott. Many land in a messy middle. Proof that the America's Dad myth is crumbling one 60-second clip at a time. And that generational audit isn't limited to Cosby. It signals that every legacy built on charisma, power, and a handshake deal may soon face the same forensic scrutiny. The Huxtables taught us to believe in picture-perfect families. Lisa Bonet's journey teaches us to look twice. Because perfection can be staged, laughter can be canned, and sometimes the world's most beloved dad is the one you should keep your daughters farthest from. So tell me, what other perfect stories deserve a second look? Drop your thoughts below. Smash that like button if you want more untold Hollywood tales, and don't forget to subscribe. The next secret is closer than you think, and we'll be here to shine a light on it.